So, I have officially made it out of Whole Cake Island, and while this arc was a bit long and the pacing could have been so much better, it felt like Dressrosa wasn't as bad, but this one to me has been the worst for pacing, and it's not even that many episodes. There's been arcs that have more episodes than this that it wasn't as bad with pacing wise, so this one just felt really long, drawn out. But one of the things I noticed in this arc that I really did enjoy, there's a lot that I enjoyed, but is that the Straw Hats finally have allies they can rely on that are by their side. And it's great to see because up until this point, it was mainly just them. Yeah, they met a few people on islands that they would help here and there, but never enough to actually help them out when they needed it the most. And I think you really start to see this happen when you get to Dressrosa, or at least the end of Dressrosa and the forming of the Straw Hat fleet, where all these people that were trapped on Dressrosa have now pledged their flag underneath Straw Hat's crew. Underneath Luffy, they're part of the Straw Hat fleet now. And it's really nice to see. And then you go to Zoe, where they meet all the whole island of Zoe is basically on their side, and you have this whole ninja alliance, whatever it's called. It was a long forming name, I can't remember it right now, of some alliance they formed with the Law, with the Love Pirates, Straw Hat Pirates, Ninjas, the people of Wano. It was a long ass name. And then you have Pedro and Peckham sacrificing themselves for the Straw Hats on Whole Cake Island. And then while we're on Whole Cake Island, you find out Beji and his crew are trying to help out the Straw Hat crew. They form an alliance as well, which is great to see. I love Beji. I love seeing a gangster, a gangster style like that in this show. It just makes me happy because I do love those movies, so it was nice to see that. But then we also have the Sun Pirates. Jinbei leaves the Sun Pirates to join the Straw Hat crew, and they end up helping them trying to escape, which was great to see, and see them helping their former captain and seeing Jinbei go back to help them as they're trying to help the Straw Hats. It was great to see. But these are the alliances that they're forming that they did not have before. And it's really, I enjoy that because now they can rely on people. They don't have to do it all themselves. They have people actually trying to help them. And out of the people that actually helped them try to escape from Whole Cake Island or helped them on Whole Cake Island, one of them I did not expect to happen was Germa 66. Yes, Sanji did save his family's life from Big Mom and saved him from being killed. And I did not expect him to come back to help him escape. They already made it out. They could have left. But no, they decided to come back anyway. And I don't think it was because they wanted to show that they love Sanji. I think deep down they kind of do actually have somewhat of an affection towards Sanji now. At least his brothers do. His sister always did. She just kind of hid it because she didn't want to be ridiculed as well, like Sanji was for caring about things. But I think part of them does care. Part of me wants to believe that they actually did care. Now, they're not ever going to admit that. It was mostly so they wouldn't have to be in Sanji's debt anymore, like for him saving them. But I still think they care deep down. They really do. The Katakuri and Luffy fight was a phenomenal fight. Not only for how it looked and how it played out and just seeing them go toe-to-toe with each other, but seeing how it challenged Luffy. Luffy had to really think about how he was going to beat Katakuri because he'd never come up against somebody like this before. Somebody that could predict his movements, and him figuring out the observation hockey the way he did was so great to see. Him flashing back to training with Rayleigh and how he figured it out, and him even mentioning it depends on the type of person I'm going to have to fight. And he put a different spin on it, and Rayleigh's kind of surprised, what does that have to do with anything? But it does. Apparently, I may have missed it, but I guess we'll find out. And there is a moment as they are sailing away on the ship that really signifies how the significance of Luffy beating Katakuri and how crazy it was. When he says it, the look on Jinbei's face when he says he beat Katakuri is just utter shock. Which kind of, I don't think he had doubted the fact that he could beat him, but it's just the shock that Katakuri was actually beaten. That just goes to show how strong Katakuri was, because Jinbei's been a part of the New World and in there for a long time. He knows everything about anything that's going on there, and it's wild to see how much of an impact Luffy beating Katakuri really had, because not only did the impact of Luffy beating Katakuri was felt throughout the world, because we got a spawn of a new Emperor of the Sea and Luffy, the 5th Emperor of the Sea. And I've mentioned this before in one of my TikTok videos, that the thing that's great about, or that I really loved about Whole Cake Island, was the display of toxic families. We see it full well with the Big Mom family, and how if you don't go by her way, she's going to basically suck your soul out, and that's it. Or you're ridiculed for not going along with it, and it's very obvious about that. And then same with Sanji's family, his toxic family, and how it's dealt with, and how he was different, but not in a good way for them. Like, they did not like it because he was too nice, too kind, too soft, and he was shunned and cast out and all that. And the thing about toxic families is when you are the one that speaks out against your toxic family, you are made to be shunned and made to be cast to the side and don't know what you're talking about. And it really shows with Chiffon and Lola from the Big Mom family about, at least for Lola, how she spoke out against her mom and like sailed off without her. And Big Mom hated her for it and resented her for it and everything and said she was what's wrong with his family. And anybody that tried to speak up against the Big Mom family that was a part of it is always like, you're what's wrong with this family or whatever. And it really shows. But it also does show that a found family can be just as good or if not better than your actual blood family. As we see it with Chiffon when she found Beji and joined the Beji Pirate. Like she married Beji, had a kid with him, and she loves being with the Beji Pirates and being a part of his family. We see it with Sanji as well. He found the Straw Hat crew, and that is his new family. It will always will be now. That's his family. He does not consider himself a Vinsmoke anymore. He considers himself a Straw Hat. Since we're on the topic of Sanji's character, I'd like to talk about him and how this arc definitely changed him in my eyes, or I have more, I guess, enjoy him more than what I used to. It's not like I hated him before or anything. It's just I enjoy him more now since I know more of his story. In the very beginning of the show, when I first met him at the Baratier, I liked Sanji. He was one of my top characters of the show. And then it kind of changed once he got further in. Not that I really disliked him, but I think it was Annie's Lobby where he didn't give everything he could to save Robin. I mean, you can argue with me if you want. That's the way I look at it. Yes, I know he has his morals. He's never going to hit a woman. But I feel like you were trying to save Robin. It was all or nothing in that moment. He did not give all or nothing. And then we get to Fishman Island, and where he literally has a nosebleed that's about to kill him because he saw a mermaid. That just really turned me off from Sanji for the most part in general. And then we didn't see him in Dressrosa, and I was like, I don't really care for him. Like, I don't hate him, but I don't really care for him. Now, seeing his full story in Whole Cake Island play out and see how traumatic his life was, I have a better understanding for Sanji, and I do enjoy him more. Funny enough, I also know why that he probably doesn't like Zoro now, because his brother has green hair, just like Zoro does. I'm sticking with that. I'm pretty sure it's been noted, at least from other people watching One Piece. But it's definitely, that's my canon as well. My theory is that he hates Zoro because of the green hair. But there's a difference there. Zoro is like a brother, but he will defend him and stand up for him, just like he almost did in Thriller Bark. He tried to do it in Thriller Bark. He has not spilled the secret about what happened. Basically, nothing happened. All in all, I'll give Whole Cake Island a solid 8 out of 10. It could be more, except for I said the pacing, like, because it was so bad with the pacing, especially the Katakuri and Luffy fight. It just kept going and dragging out for at least like 20 plus episodes. I'm like, dude, come on. I loved it, don't get me wrong, but it still just dragged on and on and on. So yeah, solid 8 out of 10. Still not better than Dressrosa. Dressrosa to me is still a 9 out of 10, almost a 10 out of 10, and it's just... And Enies Lobby is a 10 out of 10 for me. It's one of my favorite arcs because of what happens with Robin, so yeah. If you made it to the end of this video of all my ramblings, I really appreciate it. And if you could just drop a like, I'd really appreciate that as well. Have a nice day.